YouTube, what the crap is going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. Holy crap is going on in this episode. He has submitted to me a replay for the Heir Total War series, which is continuing right here, obviously, on the Shinjo map in a single fort tier assault. In this case, Staniford, the enemy player, is actually assaulting, and holy crap is defending. I like his name, if you haven't noticed. I'm a big fan, since, I'm always asking what the crap's going on. And like I said, it worked out in this case. So, this is another replay that I really like. My fans are saying, and again, I like all the replays you send me, obviously, because, you take your time to send it to me, and I watch as many of them as possible. This one is another one that I truly enjoy, just like the last one that Alchemist sent in. I was a big fan. So this one, the player is proud of his new melee avatar, which he has apparently gotten ranked up enough to where he has 36 men and almost maxed out stats. He's got Bonsai, no penalty against spears, so for all of you who are not familiar with it, a melee general can make it to where the enemy spears don't have a bonus versus cavalry. Insane charge bonuses, extremely high attack. You can see the numbers over there on the right. Now we have to get started quickly because in this one, oh no, that was the best part. Hang on, I'm going to stop recording and come back because you can't miss folks. Here is Staniford's army. He's got a unit of fire rockets. I think he's got 3 bow units. One is a bow warrior monk, or 2 bow warrior monks. One's a bow hero. His general is a leader. He's got a katana hero, and then a Yari samurai, 1 Naginata, and a few Naginata samurai. This was pretty hilarious. Check out these fire rockets. Now, in a siege battle, these guys, and especially in a single tier fort where it's not very high, these guys can be pretty devastating. Now, I've made fun of these guys before in open battles, and some of you take exception to that, saying how great they are. You know what? I mean, obviously, I'm sure some people have used them successfully. In general, I'm not a fan of them. In this case, though, they could be used to devastating effect against an enemy who's stuck in a small fort, at which point your rockets would have the most effect. However, here you're seeing a unit of Hanzo's heroes with ridiculously good stats come up and just absolutely massacre. You saw a head on the ground right there. It's a couple heads on the ground. There goes another head on the ground, another head on the ground. So literally decapitating most of this fire rocket unit. These guys have some insane stats, and what's hilarious is that this little preemptive strike here on the part of holy crap is absolutely devastating, because these fire rockets were expensive and really was what we're going to tip the favor of this fight into the favor of the attacker. Now, for those of you not familiar with it, in siege battles on Shogun 2, the attacker gets more money than the defender, because the defender gets bonuses to morale for being inside the fort. The defender in this case, holy crap, has much less money to work with, so these hero units that he's purchased are going to take up a considerable amount of his money, and he uses this Hanzo's hero unit, which is a big sacrifice against a fire rocket, or, well, I say that. Actually, I don't think the price on these guys is too terribly bad. Now, his are very upgraded, so they probably are considerably expensive at this point. You might be annoyed that I have it in slow motion, but I just think the fighting with these guys is pretty sweet. At this point, though, the Hanzo Shadows, which is a hero Kisho ninja unit, they are badly outnumbered by the enemy troops in the vicinity, and are going to be in trouble just because of they're outnumbered and they're far away from their fort. In any case, I'll put it into play and let you watch these guys finish out. They end up getting like 70, 80 kills, something like that, which is not real great for a unit of this strength, because these guys at one point I think had like 39 attack when he had the right stuff on. So they were brutal. It's just that against these odds, they didn't do too well. And there's actually a katana hero fighting in the midst of this, and the katana hero slows them down greatly. Had the katana hero not been there on the part of Staniford, his troops would have gotten pretty severely decimated by this Hanzo's Shadows unit. And you can see that even still, they do a considerable amount of damage for only 30 men who are completely separated from the main body of his army. So what do I like about this? This was gutsy. This was an expensive unit. This was a very gutsy move on the part of Holy Crap to bring these guys outside the fortress from the start. And because I don't know if he was playing the Shinobi Informer, but chances are he probably wasn't, so he probably didn't know the enemy had fire rockets. But that quick strike on the enemy fire rockets made a decisive blow in this battle. So there goes his Hanzo's heroes. They go down with a considerable number of kills, and you can see that they knocked out almost 40 of those guys, and 8 of the Katana hero unit there, and 10 of those guys, a few more of those. I mean, like, they did a pretty considerable amount of damage. Plus, they knocked out the entire fire rocket unit, completely routed it off the map, where it's not coming back. So, like I said, 2 bow warrior monks, 1 bow hero. So, and you can see that Staniford has really banked on his ability to destroy the defender's bow units. Knowing that he can spend more money on bow units, he's brought some very good ones. Now, what's the risk and the reward of bringing good bow units as an attacker? Well, the risk, obviously, is that you spend quite a bit of money on your bows that you might have ended up needing for the melee fight. Now, the reward, obviously, is if you can kill the enemy bows using relatively little ammunition and keeping some of your guys alive. That leaves you at a free reign to rain death upon your enemy, much as I did in my Atomo campaign video when I was, wreaking havoc on those Yari Ashigaru. So, obviously, that's the risk-reward scenario. So let's see how it plays out here. Now, the rest of Holy Crap's army is his melee general that I've already introduced you to, and then he's got a couple of just moderately upgraded bow Ashigaru units here. They just have better accuracy. And, of course, they're going to receive some protection from these roofs and walls. The only other unit he has in the castle is a Katana hero. So basically he decided to spend all of his money on hero units and then his general. So he figured his general, along with these hero units, could destroy multiple units of the enemy. And obviously he's got the castle to bolster his morale. And then he was thinking minimalist when it comes to spending money on bow units in order to get the beefier melee units. So essentially here, Holy Crap gambles, brings very few but very good melee troops and very low quality bows, hoping that his opponent would make some critical mistakes, which his opponent obviously did, and those fire rockets were killed early on. Here his opponent is trying to burn the gate from a distance with his bows, and he is unsuccessful. His bow's fire falls short and does not light the gate on fire. Because he's worried about the excessive range and power of the bow units of the enemy, he pulls back his bow Ashigaru units. This is a very simple defense. Pull back further within the walls, and then as the enemy moves forward, you can move forward and kind of try and force them into a position. I've done this with matchlocks in the siege battles that I fought, where I've been able to successfully use matchlocks against bow units by just luring your enemy closer. Your towers, of course, will open fire and help you a little bit. They're not going to be a massive boost, but they can kind of taunt the enemy player. And I do believe you can actually tell the targets what to the towers what to target at this point. I am going to fast forward for a little bit because you're going to see what's happening from a distance here. You can see the bow fire. He's exchanging bow fire with the Holy Crap's bows. And Staniford's bows are exchanging, and Staniford's bows are going to win this fight, hand down, even with the disadvantage to the walls, just because they're so superior. You can see that, however, he is expelling a lot of ammunition on a much cheaper unit. So in some ways, Holy Crap's still getting the better of that engagement. So you got to think those things through. At this point, he used a unit of Naginata Samurai to burn the gate. He then climbed them up the walls and quickly burns Holy Crap's tower in order to try and take that advantage away from him. Pretty interesting move by using this decimated unit of... These guys were decimated from the outset of the battle. You can see there's only 48. So he brought a damaged veteran unit of Naginata Samurai who are fairly impenetrable to arrows, uses them relatively intelligently as the fire squad, basically, to burn things down. Now, at this point, his Katana Samurai, or Katana heroes moving forward, and obviously this guy is going to excel in a bottleneck type situation, which is exactly what Staniford is giving him. Rather than climbing the walls with 1 or 2 units, he just runs all his troops haphazardly right through the burned gate. And if the enemy Katana, or if Holy Crap's Katana hero could have gotten to right here, it would have been even more devastating. And to be quite honest, I kind of think that he probably shouldn't be firing his bows into the same vicinity as his Katana hero because he doesn't want to hit them. I would have just committed all those guys to melees to try and use the numbers to overcome the sieging enemy. Here you hear a bonsai charge, and that is his melee avatar who has now entered combat. The charge he gets really isn't the best. I think he should have just charged straight through those spears since you don't take the penalty to spears. But here his general is in combat. Again, he's got a melee avatar, and the stats on this melee avatar are pretty insane. You heard him use the bonsai ability. And anyway, his melee avatar is just going to sit here and wreak havoc on these troops. And keep in mind, some of the troops that he's engaged with here are spear troops. This is a Yari samurai, but the melee avatar has an immunity to spears as opposed to other cavalry units. And you can see that his avatar is decapitating many of these bow monks who really stand no chance. And to be quite honest, those Yari samurai don't stand a chance either. And some of you might be saying, well, Heir, I've seen you use spears against enemy melee avatars. That's true. Even though you don't get the bonus versus cav, the one thing that makes spears still somewhat decent against a melee avatar is their high defense kind of slows down the rate at which the melee avatar is going to kill your troops. And then over time they can become worn out and you might eventually be able to defeat them. So that might be your only benefit. Obviously sword units have a low defense, and thus they're easy pickings for a melee avatar. It's almost like katana cav getting into your sword units. And right here you're just going to see his avatar just completely hacked to bits. I want to say there was 4 units in this vicinity, including the enemy avatar, and there's heads rolling all over the ground and down into the creek. You can see several decapitated heads right here. So in a very gruesome fight, even more heads right there. There are heads rolling everywhere apparently. Yeah, you're going to see his melee avatar completely destroy these troops out here. So what's happening on the inside of the fort? Since his katana samurai katana hero didn't get all the way to the gate, they actually did get killed by all the enemy melee troops. Now a katana hero will do very well in this scenario. The problem is they were against an enemy katana hero with the help of other troops, and like I said, they got surrounded. So even though they had an unbreakable morale, their positioning definitely dealt them a disadvantage. There goes the last Bo Ashigaru. You can see that the troops of Staniford start to celebrate their massive victory. They've captured the fort. How wonderfully excellent. So yeah, he's in control of the fort and feeling pretty good. He's going to move his troops over here to capture the citadel. But unfortunately for Staniford, the beast general of Holy Crap is not dead. And I can't read his name there, but it's Darth something. And, you know, to make a Futurama joke, I think we might just go ahead and call him Darth-stroyer, because he is completely destroying the enemy troops. So here comes his avatar, who is fresh off of killing, you know, several hundred enemy troops, and he's going to continue poning the enemy troops despite the overwhelming odds. So again, you can see his avatar having no trouble with these spears, hacking his way right through them. And we'll find out whether or not his beastly avatar is going to actually come and win this battle. So I do believe, though, that the celebration of those enemy troops was premature. Let's follow them on the charge into the last heroic fight. So apparently you do not want to attack this guy's castle because he is going to defend it in a way that will go down in history. So in any case, hope you enjoyed this replay. So what are the takeaways from this? Let me give you some takeaways here, and keep in mind this last unit that avatar is fighting there, that is a katana hero, so that is not a chump unit. So you're going to see his avatar overcome all these odds and still defeat even a katana hero in melee combat. So why don't I use a melee avatar? Well, I could. I choose not to, just because it's not my style to play. Is a melee avatar the best? I would say no in general, but are there situations in which a melee avatar is excruciatingly effective? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely yes. And in this case, you saw this in a siege battle. That avatar is going to be brutal because there's not going to be enemy cav out there that can really help hunt him down. So like I said, in this case, very brutal, and the number of kills that avatar had by the end of the battle was, I think, right around 300, which is incredible. So something to be aware of there. The melee avatar is an interesting route. If you like rush armies, melee avatar is always a lot of fun. If you like cav horde armies, a melee avatar is a lot of fun. There's obviously you don't have to rush in order to use a melee avatar. What would be the disadvantage of the melee avatar versus a leadership avatar? The obvious disadvantage is that the leadership avatar provides such big morale boost. to their army that it makes it hard for the melee avatar's army, who is now at a morale disadvantage. The greater the difference in morale between units, the bigger the kill rate and the routing rate can become. So for instance, if you play against me with your melee avatar and I'm using Patchy, the leader avatar, and I've also used like the samurai retainer that gives all my samurai +1 morale, plus Patchy's giving them +2 morale. When you come up with that big of a morale difference, your troops can have higher attack. They can get all kinds of things, and my troops still may win the fight. Now, it's not a guarantee. I just said they still may win. So it's something to be aware of. Now, I don't see a lot of melee avatars out there anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. I used to see quite a few of them. Don't discredit them, though. They're quite good. Hope you enjoyed this video. I loved it. I loved the Avatar Beast mode that you got to see there. This has been another Heir Talks Total War. Thank you for submitting your replays. As always, you can continue to submit your replays to heirtotalwar, all one word, @gmail.com. I will put the address in the description. Also look in the description. If I have more videos queued up to be uploaded, that will be in the description as far as the schedule goes, or you can check my channel or my feed, and I will give you updates on when to expect the next videos. Heir of Carthage, signing off for now.